Hey guys, Arisu here. I just wanted to make a quick video, hopefully not too long, and if it's too long, like it's more video for you guys and like more thoughts into what I wanted to talk about today, which is the evolved jobs. But before that, I really want to go a little bit into my background as a Final Fantasy 14 player and a raider. So I started raiding back in Shadowbringers. It was like around 6 months before Endwalker. Around June, July, I was already raiding. I did Eden's Promise with Echo because back then I didn't know what Echo, no Echo was. And after we did that, we went into Uwu. 2 weeks later, we cleared Yukov, and then a couple weeks later, we cleared Team. It was back to back to back. And I've been playing this game for like 5, 6 years now. Um, Although this expansion Dawn Trolley has been more on and off, but mostly because I've been already tired of what is the job system and all of the changes, because I still remember like vividly the Shadowbringers rotations, and most importantly samurai. People know that whenever I talk about samurai, it's always Kaiten and all that, but I'm not gonna talk about Kaiten right now. But yeah, like going into Dawn Trail, I was hoping for something new, and it just got shut down. Knowing that they said like, okay, like job identities are for the next expansion. It's like, okay, man, like I'm just gonna play it, but no, I'm not gonna like play as passionately as I did back in Endwalker. Mostly because I was getting burned out of like the job system and all of that. Now we're caught up to FanFest now in the timeline, real quick, and I'm actually excited now. Like all the new stuff that is coming, like it took me by surprise. I went in with no expectation and I was genuinely surprised. But I mean, of course, there are some issues, some concerns, but I mean, we only have like the preliminary information, so it is not too much. So, focusing in the Evolve versus Reborn mode, there were a lot of surprises. A lot of surprises, but mainly I want to talk about what I really like about it. So it's cool that we have like new abilities, new ways to like interact with the fights, and different ways to tackle the battles, because now they're not constrained in the 2 minute um, composition of the fights. And I love having all the abilities by level 50, even though they don't look as many, but like depending on the fight, you're gonna be using them in a different way or however you want to. Um, for me, it's really cool that we see like this early version of the classes of the jobs systems and give them that fantasy. Um, it really feels like they brought this uniqueness to at least Dragoon, which they got like the PvP dive, that like that a PvP jump, high jump, sky shatter, that one. Like it was, I got stunned whenever I saw it, and it's really like, well, funny enough, like Dragoon now has a personal myth, a big one of that. Um, I really like the counter that Paladin has. Actually, let me to order this a little bit better. Let me change into the actual like development panel and show exactly what I like about each and one of these. So I'll go with Paladin. So I really like that for starters, like you have your Holy Shelter and it's no longer tied to your auto attacks gauge. Cause like at the end of the day, you're either gonna use it or you're not gonna use it, right? Like most of the times, either use both of them like right there and then that you don't use it for a long time. So it is, in my opinion, it feels better that it's on a 20-second cooldown, almost at the same tempo as the other tanks. And I mean, you can stack it twice. It feels really nice, like a nice idea with that. Also, the honor. So it's on a 40 seconds. So that means every 40 seconds you have your blade combo, and well, sword combo, and it feels really cool that you're no longer tied to a 1 minute. At least on Paladin, it doesn't feel like you're tied to like every minute you have to burst, right? So now you're on a 40-second cooldown, which you can stack, and you can be like, okay, like every 80 seconds I want to be bursting, or you can do it at 40, you can do it later. Since there are no longer like any raid buffs, you can do it whenever you want, and that's the thing that I really like. Um, some people had concerns. At least one friend of mine had concerns that like provoking Shuriken on the same button, and like he told me like, oh, I used to have like Shuriken on a macro, and like I really liked having that button on a separate. And I'm like, brother, look at the hotbars, you know, you have a lot of space to put one macro that does the same. You just change the action to be what is gonna be called provoke or whatever it is, but send it to this, you know, the second party member or whichever member you have the off deck on, or main tank, whoever. Like we don't know how the main tank off deck role is gonna work, but like to the other tank. Um, so like most of like these stuff is not really changed yet. Like you're still gonna have your macro for shirking the other tank. I really like that. Depending on like if you're close or far, it's gonna like change between shield love, shield slam. Divine Veil, you keep it, but it's on a 2-minute cooldown. Passage of Arms, 2-minute cooldown, but it has a healing after it. So if I make a wild guess about the main tank, off tank stuff, it would be more like maybe the off tank has mids every minute, and main tanks have it at 120s. That's something to think about, but we don't know yet until probably Berlin, Japan, or until they actually release it. And mainly that's about it. Like I really like that Holy Sheltron. Besides giving you that 15%. Well, I don't know if he's gonna keep it, but like right now it's just like, oh, make sure you mid 4 seconds before it happens, so you get an extra 15% mid. Now you actually feel rewarded to do your parry counter attack. You know, it feels really nice about that. Now Dragoon specifically, I really just want to talk about like how fun it is to, I mean, just like I'm just imagining this right now. So it's like you have your main combo in just one button. So some people are gonna feel like, oh dude, I don't like having it in one button. Like look at all this space, yada yada. I mean, they have the system to like split you know, the actions into different things, into different buttons. I hope they replicate that system in the evolve mode, and if they don't, like it is what it is, man. The main important part for me is that, okay, like positionals matter. This is a left positional now, this is a right positional, and you have your back positional. And they're on a 10-second cooldown, so and you can stack them up to 3 times, right? And this almost has the same alignment as your high jump, but the high jump is on a 30-second cooldown, and this is on a 10. So like every 30 seconds, at least one positional, you don't have to like actually do it if you just press a jump. People were, I remember reading someone that said like, oh, you're gonna have your jump for every positional. That is actually incorrect. There's like, this is on a 10-second cooldown, this is on a 30. So like just one out of the three, you can actually ignore the positional requirement. Although, if I'm honest, it's just a personal feeling, I feel like we should have like at least one stack, or like just true north, just one stack of it. Something like 45 or probably a minute cooldown, who knows. Like possibilities are endless, and they're probably gonna listen to the community about it. I really like that, you know, we get the like post star diver combo, you're gonna have your specific ability sky high, and it's so cool to just think about it. Like just even think about like the button from PvP, it's now translated into this one with a follow-up. Really cool animations, really cool animations. Like it just feels really nice that they said like, okay, let's compact everything like into really small but expand what they can do. That is such a 5-head move. Moving ahead to White Mage, I actually don't play healer that much. Mostly because like personally it's boring for me to just be pressing like one button, one button, one button, one button, one button, dot one button, one button, one button. Or like it's like I could literally do no DPS. Like it has happened to me. I've had I remember like we cleared DSR with like Giga Gamers, and I was on Sage. I only placed my dot. I made sure like I shielded the parties, but I did no doses. And we still cleared, even though, yeah, you know, it's Donjero DSR, you know, it's been a while, but like I didn't feel like the need to like actually do something. But like it's just boring to me to like just be pressing one button. But like now they made so like glare feels actually like different every time you press it. Like one T, you have a different animation. I think like that idea is fine because I used to think about that. Well, actually, I used to think about it differently, which is like if you do 3 glares, you get access to a new button or something like that. You feel rewarded that you actually press glare a certain amount of times. But this is a different approach. It is what it is. Like, you know, since I don't play healers in general, mostly because of like how they work in game, like I'm not inclined to trying them. But at least it's like it feels nice that it's like okay, like they're forcing, well, not forcing you, but they're promoting the using the healing, so you can actually deal even more damage. Now that is something that it feels nicer to do as a healer, that which you're supposed to heal, but like most of the times you're not actually healing. You're just waiting for something to happen. You heal up, and then that's it. Like at least to me, that's how I see it, and like I don't feel like really invested in this. But like, we still have Astro, Scholar, and Sage to see. But for now, like it's a good preliminary change. I don't think too much about this, but I might just like go ahead and go for Bard because Bard is one of the main issues of why I didn't like playing any of the other Fizz ranges, even though they're technically better because they have a raid buff, Dancer and Bard. But like Machinist, for example, like you would have like a set rotation, you would do damage, but at the same time it wasn't enough because you don't give a raid buff. And they don't give love to Machinist, let's be real. Like for so long, Wildfire hasn't critted at all for some reason. It's your 2 minute is your big button, and it cannot just crit at all. Like it's anyway. There's another reason why I personally don't play Bard. It's not about the songs, but it's about the RNG. Like I like the songs, put a pace on your rotation. I don't like that it's like like oh sometimes you get refulgent arrows, sometimes you don't. Oh you are having good luck, maybe you have this, maybe you don't. Like that's the thing that I don't really like. Because the RNG doesn't feel like too much how do you call this? Like it doesn't happen too often. Like it doesn't like for example in WoW, if you get a proc, you go down a prio list. And this one is like you either get it and you press it on the next GCD, or you don't press it at all because it doesn't proc. Meanwhile, in WoW, you go down the prio list, and it makes sense that the RNG procs happen. In this one, it just feels like annoying, but that's just how I see it. Like, don't get me wrong. Then we see like this new rotation of Bard, and at least to me it feels like um more interactable, I guess, because like now your songs are on a 20-second cooldown, so basically every minute you're gonna be like doing something, 20, 20, 40, 60 for like the three songs, and then you do your big moves. It feels nicer that now it's like the RNG is almost completely gone, let's say. And actually, I forgot to mention something. So this is important too because I forgot to mention in Dragoon specifically. Whenever you're using, for example, Sinister Driver, Dexter Driver, even the Heaven Sword, like he's gonna do an ability, and I don't know if like people aren't talking about this. I don't know why, but like there's no AOE. Like the AOE is already integrated. So like right here, it does Sinister Drive, and it's a line AOE. So like you still have your OGCD, Gersko will is still like that line AoE. Well, like Sinister Drive is part of your 1-2-3 combo right now, and it's a single target. So now that it's a line AoE, it actually like opens up the possibilities of like every job you're perma AoEing. Well, not perma, but like you know what I mean. Like it's already in your kit. Like you no longer have to like, oh, I need to do the other rotation and probably possibly like break your other rotation. So that's something that I really like about that. Anyway, moving on to Bard, I really like that it's like, you're gonna have your songs, like you have a set specific keys to press. I really like it. I really like the RNG is at least I think it's gone. Or if it's not gone, like you get a proc like that right there. You get a proc of like Heartbreakers, right? And like you just press it right there, right? Like it feels nice. That's actually something that I really like about Mage's Ballad in this current iteration, which is like, it's proccing while you're doing the song. But the one main one is a burst shot and revolving arrow. That's the one that I don't really like because it's like it's 50%, but sometimes it doesn't feel like 50%. But that's just me, man. Just me. Um, but yeah, it feels really cool that you're doing your rotation and like it looks flashy. It looks like you're doing damage. You get a side hop or a dash, or you can just like stand still and do damage. It's also really nice to me that Bard now has this cast bar. I don't know why, but it feels nice that they actually have to hold the bow to like do something. So it feels like, at least if I had to predict something, like machinist PvP right now, you can move slowly but doing your, your 1 to 3 combo. Something like that could happen with Bard, with like at least Thrum of the Goddess bow. And if that doesn't happen, it is what it is. But it looks so cool. Like they actually like are expanding on the job fantasy. This is something so cool. And it's just like, I like that they're trying like new stuff. They're going to like multiple like different ways to like interact with the jobs and like give them this sense of uniqueness, while like not losing the, I guess, the damage. For in simple terms, it's like they're giving them their individuality without sacrificing that they're gonna like perform at the same or a little bit higher. Like they said, they're gonna perform just a tiny bit higher. It doesn't really matter, but like they keep them like almost at the same level. I hope they do. Like, you have to trust them, and if they don't fix it, as they have to fix it faster, like what they did with Pictomancer, in 7.1. Fru came out. Everyone knew Picto was still strong, and it destroyed Fru in such a magnificent level that if you had a Pictomancer, there was no DPS check. You know, I hope they fix that and they don't like. Well, I'm talking about fixing, but it's like I hope they avoid that. Like they actually take their time into balance it correctly, and if they couldn't get the balance right, like they actually like balance it out a little bit faster instead of like 2 long patches after. But it feels really cool, really cool. Now, there's only one concern, I guess, about this whole stuff, and it's actually over here under. I think I went too far. Yeah, right here. So the finding of main tank and off tank rules. So usually, like, this is what actually is Zeno is talking about too much about this. Like, you know how he is. But up to a certain point, he does have a point that in the past, like they tried having something like this, and it just like didn't work. And it's like, okay, well, like let's see what they have in store to like actually compensate for this. Because like, what if the off tanks like, what if they don't no longer have home, like not home, I'm sorry, blood wedding? They don't have TBN. They don't have hard to run them. Like, what if they're 40% right now? It's actually at 30%. What if Paladin actually keeps that 40%, but they don't? Or instead of a 30, it's a 25%. Like, what if they like change into that? They're just like, okay, they have to lower the enemy damage, so they probably have like the 60 seconds that I mentioned before. The only concern is like they don't manage to find like a natural like way of compensating or like making sure um the damage is actually somewhat balanced. Because for something that I know, there um it's not common, but it has happened before. Well, no, it's actually like a little bit common, but it's like Gunbreaker, at least in Abyssos, was like so good with Dark Knight. So like, you need to play those 2 jobs to like actually like meet the DPS check. But it was also like because like Paladin was in the previous iteration, and like Warrior was just like not getting enough love. Um, but I hope they actually find a good spot, and I hope they get it right down the line. It's also, at least over here, whenever in Paladin they used provoke, when they use provoke, there's just like this little thing that I'm gonna talk about, then it's pretty much done. So when they use provoke, right around here, the stance appeared for 10 seconds. So it's kind of like, are they gonna be able to, like, where's the tank stance actually? Like, this is the main concern. There's like, there's no tank stance. Do they already have it on by default, or how's it gonna be? Like, I hope they talk a little bit more in deep with this. But outside of that, it's it's a concern that is down the line. Like, for me, the most important thing is that we're getting different things to enjoy the game, and that for me is like the biggest and, well, the best news about this. And, well, that's pretty much it for me. I, well, Jesus, I took 19 minutes to say this, but yeah, like these are all my thoughts about like the evolved jobs, and this is pretty much the one and only like video I'm gonna do about this until the Berlin Fanfest, unless there's something new, and if they make a development panel. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.